If you're like me and been in the Dead by Daylight community for a while now, you've definitely heard murmurs either through Twitch or YouTube or even TikTok about competitive Dead by Daylight or comp DBD. And I decided, you know what? I want to poke my head into this. I want to give it a try, see what the community is like, see what the gameplay is like, etc. And see, not only where my skill level stands, but also just what is the general vibe and impression of the community and also the gameplay that they set up through their rule sets. If you don't know, competitive Dead by Daylight is essentially a subset of the community who wants the game, who plays in a game mode that they've created uh, that is designed to be as competitive as possible. You can play in any play style, but some add-ons, and I'm not unsure about perks, but maps are limited, add-ons are limited, to create the most fair base level for a player-to-player interaction, and then from there, you play the game however you want. So in 1v4, you can tunnel, camp, slug, whatever. But the mode I actually have played, which you see on screen, the first part you just saw was me playing Killer. Now I'm Survivor. We're doing a set. Is the 1v1 game mode. This is the 1v1 ladder. And I decided I would play the 1v1 ladder. So those of you who are curious can see what it's like without actually having to go into the Discord, set up the Discord, find a match, etc. Basically, how it works is you queue into somebody through the Discord, you join their Discord, you verify everything. You queue into somebody through a matchmaking system. You put, where you're from. I'm from, East NA, so I get matched up with people from East NA to have better connection. And then you both agree upon a killer that is in the parameters of the season. They have seasons almost like, Fortnite, where the killers are limited, the maps are limited, and it changes to give variety. So in this one, we're doing a Trapper set. So I just played Trapper. I got the down pretty quickly, which was good. And now I'm playing Survivor here on Fang. And my goal is to just last as long as possible. On the Survivor end, you get 2 chase perks. On the Killer end, you get 1 chase perk. This you both start in Shack, and then the Survivor crouches, the killer then does an M1 swing, and then the time begins as soon as the survivor crouches. And you are just trying to last as long as possible. The maps are preset, so for example, on Trapper, when we do a Trapper set where I play against Trapper, it has to be Suffocation Pit, and Suffocation Pit every time, which you're seeing here. But for example, Demogorgon is Wrecker's Yard. Trapper is just basic. He doesn't use like traps or anything. He's literally just like the M1 mode. So I get a pretty good chase in. I want to note the gameplay in the background. This is like the best that I did. These people have hours and hours and hours in this game. They are very good at the game. And a lot of the time, I did not do very well. Probably about 70% of my games or 60% of my games, I got my ass handed to me. My chases weren't very long. But every now and then I would get a good chase and have a good killer side. And this was one of those. And you'll see some more examples later. I think I included some examples that are me getting beaten pretty decently in the end. So if you want to see those, stick around. Regardless, this is what I learned from this mode. So I queued up for a game. The first thing you notice when you join this is that, first of all, there is so much room for improvement as a Survivor player. Every slight bit of pathing can be improved upon, and you have no idea what you don't know until you see what some of these players do. The way they position their character to see through tiny crevices and cracks that you didn't know exist, that keep them safe, and a tile that otherwise you would go down in 5 seconds at is crazy. There's so much room for improvement, and it taught me I'm really not that good at Survivor as compared to what I could be. There are people who are absolutely insane at Survivor, and there's a lot of room to grow. Maybe against compared to like an average Survivor, sure, I'm probably like pretty decent, but I mean, these players who play this game mode, they obviously know like every aspect of the maps. They know even some trash pallets. They know if they play well enough that they're god pallets, pallets that have to be dropped and you have to kick them, or it can loop them for a while. Like I didn't even know there's one filler on this map that can spawn pretty frequently. That's basically a god filler. And here I go down. Damn, he got me. But yeah, there's so much to learn, and I realized I'm just not as good as Survivor as I thought I would be. That's number one. There's just so much to learn. Number two is the game mode is really good for increasing your skills as Survivor, especially just Chase specifically, because in pubs, sometimes you don't get a volume of chases. Sometimes you are the gen jockey, or sometimes you get a chase, and guess what? You're injured and you're out of position, but that was, maybe the best play at the time, maybe it wasn't, but you don't really get a fair chase. This, you get a fair chase. You start off with distance, and you have the entire map to run. So you can learn to run anything in the map. You're not necessarily restricted. So it definitely improves your pathing, specifically in chaining tile to tile and looking where to go next rather than just looping, the same palette or two. Because I think a lot of players learn to run and they'll run the same, two objects, and then once they're gone, they're dead. But they don't think about, okay, maybe I leave this early despite being able to run it longer because I have this over here on the map. So it kind of teaches you that thinking. About the community, which this was what I was most intrigued by. I wasn't surprised that it was actually a good game mode and then it taught me a lot and it had me able to improve. I was more curious about the community and what they would be like in, communicating with me and just the kind of vibe that I got. The community was nice. Most of them, if not all of them, were nice people. They're just people who really love Dead by Daylight and want to get better at the game. Although I will say they seem to have a lack of self-awareness about the absurdity of the game mode because it's made up. It's not real and like there's no actual rank. This rank is calculated in a Discord full of people that made it up. So they take like their rank in the mode very seriously. Like there were times where I would, try and just make conversation while we were playing. Like, oh, like, do you have a favorite character you like to play one on? And some of these people would just answer like one words, like demo, 1v double demo set, 1v1 now. And I'm like, dude, why is this so serious? Like, I want to get better. I want to do the best I can in this, quote unquote ranked game mode. But like, it's not that deep. I'm just trying to hang out and play, my favorite party game at the end of the day. And so some of them were very standoffish, and they have a big emphasis on getting better. Like a lot of the conversations I had, they were like, "Don't worry, like if you keep practicing, you'll be like a demon at this game." I'm like, "Well, what if I just wanted to play a 1v1 mode for fun?" You know what I mean? Like, would that be so bad? Like, I did want to get better. I did want to experience everything, but I also was doing it for fun. I was like, would it be so bad if I like, just wanted to hop on here for like a game or two? Because it seemed like everybody was like, how many hours do you have? Like, it was just very, and obviously they're gonna lean that way because it's a competitive Discord. Like this is a subset of people who like, eat, breathe, sleep this game. But I was just surprised on like it just seemed like there wasn't. And again, I had a limited amount of interactions. Everybody was nice. I had no problem with the community. It was a lot of fun. I'll probably go back to it maybe once or twice if I really feel like I need to practice. Like if I ever was gonna do like a very long stream and I wanted to practice Survivor, I would go and do this for like, hours and then hop on Survivor or whatever. But it just seemed like a lack of self awareness. The other thing, and probably my biggest problem with it, is it doesn't simulate 1v4 chase very well. It simulates it in the sense that, you learn, because you're chasing more, you learn how to run things optimally. This is the God filler I was talking about, by the way, this one. I don't know how to run it, but this is what it looks like. I think you're supposed to run it rockways, and then there's like a check spot where they just can't get you. But regardless, it doesn't simulate 1v4 because, yes, while you learn to run singular resources well, you chain too many resources because you have the entire map. And in 1v4, first of all, you don't always start with a fair chase. You don't always start a check. You don't always have the option to run the length of the map. In fact, you usually shouldn't because your teammates over there doing a gen or healing or whatever, you usually want to get the most value that you can out of one area or one resource. And so the 1v4 game mode, I was kind of like, yeah, like this is working because we're playing 1v4, but or 1v1, excuse me. But in 1v4, like it just wouldn't work that way. Um, because it in 1v1, it's set up so you have the perfect conditions for a chase, and that's just never going to happen in 1v4. There's so many variables, and I feel like it doesn't simulate that game knowledge that you get, where it's like, you know what, I'm injured. I could run to this safe pallet over here, but my two teammates are going to finish the final gen. Or I could run away to this corner. Yeah, I'll go down, but I bought my teammates time to finish the gen. I have no hook states. They have hook states. Like situations like that are just not simulated in this. And that's a lot of the skill of Dead by Daylight is choosing when to take losses as a survivor. You're meant to lose in 1v4, and you're meant to be a weaker, you know, the weaker side as survivor in a one-on-one. And the other thing that I realized, last thing, maps are not balanced around these players. They are just not. If if behavior devs tested these maps against these players, they would make every map Haddonfield. I swear. Like the middle of Suffocation Pit, this Claudette absolutely runs me. I think this is a good example. The middle of Suffocation Pit, literally. Oh wait, no. Okay, maybe it's the next chase. The middle of Suffocation Pit literally is like hell if they get a good setup. Like it is not balanced around, and that's why I feel like it's a party game. You know, it's not balanced around these players. If it was balanced around these players, you'd have like, the shit one pallet with a tree and the rock fillers everywhere. Like it's just not. Um, but yeah, that was my one-on-one experience. I would honestly recommend it if you want to get better at chase and you like high volumes of chase, and that's your favorite part of the game, as it is for me. It's a good time. It is a sweaty time. I didn't feel comfortable like not trying my ass off in every match, because if I did, and sometimes, or honestly most of the time, if I was not locked in, I would just get down in 2 seconds. Like it looks like I'm gonna get down here. Yeah, like see, like it's these players are so good on both sides. Um, but yeah, it is sweaty. But overall, it was a good experience. I'm glad I got to try it, and thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was informative and educational. If you like content and discussions like this, please let me know. And let me know your thoughts on the comp DBD community as well as the 1v1 ladder. Thanks. See ya. Hey y'all, it's Aiden. Post editing regretfully, because I wanted to mention kind of a little bit more of how the mode works. I kind of just forgot to mention a few key things that I feel like are important. Number one is that it's set based. So you agree to killers and it's a set. So for example, we agree to Trapper, we get sent to Suffocation Pit. We do I'm Trapper, their survivor, I'm Trapper. And then best time wins that. And then the next one, if we agreed to do Trapper twice, we do that again. Or if we agreed to do demo, we switch to demo. If say they won that first set and I won the second one, we do a tiebreaker, which you agree upon. Sometimes you go back to Trapper. That's kind of the standard. It seems like you just go back to Trapper, but because he's like the most neutral killer. But if you agree on something, that's also fine too. Oh, here's the example of how to kind of run this God filler. I think this is where I learned my lesson. Let's see. Okay, maybe I knew to break it. Regardless. Also, the other thing is the survivor can choose which entrance of shack they start at. So if you want, one side looping around back to the one, say you wanted the pallet side because it leads, to a stronger pallet. If you loop around through the building back to the shack pallet, it leads to a stronger pallet right after that. You might want to run that way. So that was very interesting. But yeah, just a little post edit explanation. Um, but that's about it. I appreciate y'all. See ya.